Welcome back for episode 3. We just finished taking the dishes out of the dishwasher, so it's time to dish. I felt like for episode 3, we should go with Danbury Shortbread, just because, Lady Danbury, she's trying her best to kind of orchestrate everything that's going on in the town, and I don't know, it just felt right. Like things were getting a little sweet. We saw a lot of pastries going on, so I feel like Danbury shortbread was the vibe for this one. So we start off with a hot and bothered familiar dream. It was wild because when it was happening, for some reason, immediately I was like, this cannot be real. This has to be a dream. Like there's no way. There's no way. It has to be a dream or like foreshadowing or something because there's no way that they would just have a little kiss and then all of a sudden like mm, we've been wanting a fairy tale for Penelope for how long? It ain't no way she was just gonna give it up just like that. And when I say that, I mean that Shonda Rhimes and them were not just gonna let us be happy and walk off into the sunset like that. So that was wild. But I will say, it was a pleasant dream, of course. But Shonda Rhimes, I swear that woman, she's a force to be reckoned with, a force to be reckoned with. So then they move into the Bridgerton family room, or what I assume to be the family room. They were asking Carla all these questions about how they sleep and because they knew their little Bridgerton spidey senses could pick up something was going down. But honey, I wrote down that Colin was a real storyteller. And I said he was rethinking his whole life after that whole friend thing. I was just like, really, Colin? Next, we move over to the Featherington household where little Miss Eloise decides to roll up. So I had a mixed range of emotions because at first I was like, ooh, a visitor, but if they were like, "Oh, it's a visitor for Miss Penelope," and I'm like, "Ooh, okay, who's gonna roll up at my girl's house?" And I put that I thought it would have been Lord Reddington, not Eloise out of all people. Eloise, like she just. It's like she has main character energy herself as the character, but ma'am, like I'm gonna need for you to pipe down and let other people be the main characters just for a little bit, okay? And then I said that I just cannot with this lying full of herself hussy. So yeah, that tracks. That tracks. So next we move over to Penn and Colin under the willow tree. I thought it was so cute with the two of them under there just chitting and chatting. Even though a lot of craziness went down, but they look really cute. See, I can be nice. I can be nice to Colin sometimes. Don't get used to it though. So besides Colin and Penelope looking all cute under the willow tree, they show us the rest of the little peeps at the event. And, Lord Debley, I was like, oh, he's kind of cute. He seems like a nice guy. But all the hunting metaphors, I was like, they're giving serial killer vibes. Like, I mean, every time I turn around, it's something about the animals, plants, some type of nature. And I'm just like, I know in the last video, I was fussing about how the guys were all hot about getting familiar and stuff. And I'm sure now you probably like, okay, so you didn't want them to be out here trying to get familiar, trying to know what's their deep inner being and all that kind of stuff. So, like, what do you want them to talk about? But I mean, hunting, really? Hunting? Where's PETA when you need them? Anyways, moving along after that off the chain statement. It's just I don't know, y'all. Like he's just weird, okay? It's just weird. And I'm just like, sir, like, how can one be that deep into hunting and exploring? It just makes me raise an eyebrow. I'm just saying. It just makes me raise an eyebrow. I would choose the bear over I'm just saying. I don't trust. So he's talking all this stuff or whatever. And then little Miss Cressida, Cressida had to find some kind of way for her to be involved and be all interested in him and all this other mess. And looking at her outfit, I was like, is this Baps the movie, like the remake with the ribbon hairdo that she had going on and those huge little circles? I mean, she looked like Candyland or something. I didn't know what was going on, but I will say, even though I love to rip Eloise a new one, I loved her little outfit with the crisscross dress and then the cardigan kind of coat vibe thing that she had going on. But then at the same time, I was like, man, they got to be hot under all of that because it looked hot out there, or at least it was sunny. So now Cressida is all interested in Lord Devlin because apparently, honey, her and her family out here struggling, or her daddy out here cutting up. It was wild also, like, for Eloise to be so smart and pro female, like, she just sucked reading the room, or I guess reading the garden and the whole situation. I just I just expected more from Eloise. I'm like, okay, you want to help your little friend, but you do realize that you are going to be putting yourself in between Penelope and this girl. You do, like, do you see that? Does she see what we see? No? Do they see what we see? I hope so. And then with little Miss Francesca trying to make her match, Violet and Lady Danbury, they're trying their best, but ooh, is wow. And that one guy who rolled up, I was just like, ooh. But did you notice it was very interesting how Violet was saying, whomever Francesca like would be interested in, or this is that and the third. But even if she wasn't interested in the person that the queen picked for her, or like, suggested heavily for her, that she didn't have to pick them. But it was very interesting that Francesca was like, oh, but like if the queen picks him for me, then I trust the queen's judgment. And I'm just like, do you know this lady? Like, you know we didn't even know Queen Charlotte until Queen Charlotte came out. We like, you know this lady, you expect this lady to be making a match for you, you just go along with it. But at the same time, it's like Francesca just views this whole marriage thing and finding a mate almost as like a task that has to be completed in a sense. Like she's not necessarily emotionally invested and she's looking at it from a very logical standpoint, which is very interesting because I feel like for a lot of us neurospicy people out here, it's easy. Well, I don't want to say it's easy because it hasn't been confirmed yet, but I feel like it's very plausible that our girl, she might be a little neurospicy, and like representation, baby, representation. We're here for it. So I don't know. We're gonna see how it goes. But homeboy that rolled up, I just don't see it there. And then we have a little glimpse of the Modric family, and I was like, "Ooh, okay, come through, baby, with your gold and little pops of red." I don't know if that was poppy, maybe, because it looked like a really bright red. But I will be the first to say, horticulture and I, we do not, that is not my realm, and I respect those who are great in horticulture and agriculture, and that is their passion because it's a struggle busting over here. So let's move along. So into the next scene, we have the two Featherington girls. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So when the lady was like, here's this little tincture to drink, honey, when I saw the green in that cup, I immediately went back to when we went to a all-inclusive resort. And you know how you go to the all-inclusive resorts and it's like, oh, if it's a buffet, I might as well try stuff that I've never tried before. If I'm on vacation, I might as well try things I've never tried. And you know how you go through the like cycle of you get there, you want to bottle out like food and beverages as much as possible and live it up, and then you immediately crash, and then you're trying to like build yourself back up, so then you're like, oh, let me be super healthy so I can like enjoy the rest of my trip and make up for all the debauchery that I committed. And then you start drinking all of them smoothies, all of that fruit that you never drank in real life. And baby, I don't know, but it is something about those green smoothies. Okay, straight to the bathroom. Okay, straight to the bathroom. And it was hilarious when she was like, "Oh, you might feel a little pressure in the belly." I was like, "You mean she get ready to have bubble guts? Because that's what it sounds like." And then they swallowed it. And they're like, "Oh, it's sweet." And I'm like, "Yeah." I remember thinking those same exact thoughts at the fancy little buffet. And I remember telling my husband that I was just going to run back to the room real quick because the GI tract was calling, honey. That green juice is not to be played with. You better make sure that you have a private restroom that's easily accessible because okay, those that know. So anyhow, besides all of that, that was hilarious. Oh, also when she was like, "Oh, chamber pot, chamber," and I was like, then you throw that whole chamber pot away because the way that she was mannequin and the look on her face, throw the whole chamber pot away. Okay, just get a box, something. Just mm-mm. Ain't no saving it, honey. Ain't no saving it. So next up, we were at the food tent with the little air balloons and stuff. And I said that Colin was in a trance when he saw Miss Penelope Featherington enjoying those pastries, honey. I mean, he was bothered, okay? Bothered. And I love that for him because I'm just like, why you was playing our girl all this time trying to act like, oh, she's just the girl next door. I would never date her. I would never. Mm-hmm. And now you eating your words as you deserve. So chomp chomp to the bit. Go ahead on, eat it up. So then when she was talking about Lord Debley and stuff, I was like, inner Colin. He's probably like, and Lord Debley, Ariana, what are you doing here? He's like, what is Devlin doing here? Like, why is he all in the foreground? Why is Pitt all of a sudden keep talking about this guy? I'm like, that's what happened when you play games, Colin. When you play games, you get stupid prizes. So you're welcome. So next up, we go to Cressida, Penn, and Debling. I'm gonna have to call her Penn for this one because she, our girl backslid just a hair. So I said because they were having like this whole little conversation or whatever, and I was like, Cressida is out here pretending to be an introvert, acting like she could just jump into Devlin's lifestyle, and I was like, girl, bye, you not one of us. Okay, because us introverts, we not out here in the mix. We not out here being a mean girl. We not out here gossiping. Now, if you want to bring the gossip to us, we're more than happy to listen. But who ain't out here spreading it or getting involved is yours truly. Okay, so you can't sit with us. No, 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 ma'am. You have not proven yourself. Not saying that you really have to prove yourself, but anyhow. And then she's talking about these birds. When I tell you, baby girl was played it up. Cressida said what she not getting ready to do is be locked up with her mama and daddy for the rest of her life. And then when she was talking about the great auk and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, Eloise, I see you trying to help your little friend out. I see you, boo. But Penn, oh my goodness, when she said I love birds, Penn. It's and then when he was like, "Oh, so you like birds?" and they're talking about the birds, and then she's like, "Oh, well, what about the common ones? One shouldn't look over the sparrow." What? And girl, you could have just let that silence be. You could have just left it alone. So, but don't forget the sparrow. Don't overlook the sparrow. You know what? I would just leave her alone because only heaven knows the silly little stuff that I said when I was nervous, when I was out here dating my little husband. So, you know what? I'm just gonna zip it and we just go press on. So next up is Colin and his little friends. They out here chitting and chatting and all this mess. And I'm like, yeah, Colin. How that ooh, you don't like Colin either? Sterling, are you being nice? Are you being a Colin? Hmm. So we have Eloise, Colin. What are you gonna be, Tuxie? Who are you? You don't know yet? Okay, we'll find a character for you. So with him and his little friends, and he was eating all that food and stuff. I'm like, yeah, And you over here staring Penelope down. She can be Penelope again because her embarrassing part is over. I'm like, yeah, stare her down. Look at what you missed out on, playboy. Just, oh, she just gets on my nerves. And oh yeah, and did you guys notice with the whispering? So again, they had a bunch of people talking in the background, and I was like, oh, and then in this scene, I don't know if y'all noticed it too, but they had a whole lot of whispering going on again. Thankfully, they weren't telling any salacious secrets, but I was just like, between this show and the surround system, they trying to make me feel like I'm crazy or I need to be on guard out here because it was wild. It was wild. So then they pan to the Modriches, just for a little while, just a little something, something. And again, I wrote, I don't know. Something isn't sitting well with me about them. They got the whole rags to riches story, but there's so much trepidation about their new life. It's giving like, what are we doing here? Again, Ariana, what are you doing here? It's just giving that vibe. And it's so unsettling because it's like we know a little bit from the previous story and how he had the boxing club and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. It's just like you're seeing these people who want to do better and want better for themselves in life, and then they're handed a golden ticket and you're watching them grow, but it almost feels like you're just watching it happen through a window that only opens once during the day for 5 minutes. And you have to piece together like each day that you see. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. It just doesn't sit right with me for some reason. I don't know. So next up, they show us the hot air balloon, and that was wild because when that lady popped up, honey, she took me by surprise. I was like, "Well, who is this little blue sapphire?" I was like, what are you offering to the Don Dolly? Like, she seemed like a very interesting character, and I'm like, hmm. I wonder what role she's gonna play. And then we pan to Francesca when she is meeting Samadani, who is a Marquess. But I don't know, y'all. Like, I'm just gonna say, those sideburns that they gave him, it's giving vampire, okay? It's giving, I'm here to suck the life out of you. I don't know. That was just the vibe that I got from him. It was off. It was very off putting. I'm sorry. I said it. And poor Pin in the grass. I'm just like, Penn is just struggling with being a conversationalist right now. It is crazy because her words and her way with words is so profound. But honey, out here being in the social stratosphere, my girl is struggle busting. And she can't even ask Colin for help because Eloise ruined that. But whatever, I'm going to stop beating up on Eloise for a little while. So everybody's still chitting and chatting, all this kind of stuff. And then they start panning towards Colin because, we have to know what's going on with this guy who's been out here playing the girl next door for all this time. And now that fool is finally waking up. And so it was just wild how his little friends was like, what's up with Debling? And somebody's like, oh, like he doesn't seem untoward in his feelings, or no, his love for vegetables. Like, what? And then they like this episode, it was a little all over the place because then they pan to the Featherington kitties and how they, I don't know what the mama said, but they were out there getting busy. And homeboy was talking about, oh, darling, you've never looked more windswept in your life. And then they started fooling around behind the tent. And it was like, not her knocking him off of her when somebody else was coming around the corner. I'm like, that old man, he probably couldn't even see y'all. And then you go knock your husband on the grass. Thankfully, like he just hit the rope, which caused that whole chaotic scene. But I'm like, thank goodness it was just something as simple as that and not him falling back, bumping his head, and who knows what happened. I'm like, the Featherington girls, they stay cutting up. So then, with the whole fiasco of the hot air balloon and everything is happening, and it's just like a chaos, just complete and utter chaos happening right in front of your face in 4K. And I'm like, okay, so who's going to save who? Who's going to save the balloon? Like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And as the balloon in the basket is going crazy, and you can tell that Colin is like gonna be the one to save the day and da 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 da. I know, right? I know. So then, next thing you know, Penn is out here in danger. They keep foreshadowing that Penn's in danger. And I look and Lord Devlin out here trying to run for the hills to save himself. And I was like, I know you not finna leave our damsel out here in distress. Colin can't do everything. See, I told y'all I would be nice to Colin. But I'm like, yeah, Colin can't do everything. Like, Devlin, if you don't go and help her, you see her struggling. So thankfully, he goes and helps her and ran back, but he saved her and whatnot. But at the same time, he was taking a little bit of time trying to get up and get off her. Like, I don't know if he was enraptured by the bosom or not, but I'm like, sir, don't you be laying on our girl and having her possibly getting into yet another scandal. Like, I'm gonna need for y'all to get up and stand up, because these people like to talk. Okay, they love to talk. After all of that craziness, we move forward to the ball, and I like the rendition of Cheap Thrills. Like, that was so cute, and it was fun to like listen. And then the song, and just it was a vibe. It was a vibe. So we see Lady Bridgerton roll it up, and she dropped her little glove. And I was like, oop, Lady Bridgerton's guarded woke up, honey, as soon as she saw that hand pick up that glove. I was like, is this the Golden Bachelor? Like, what is going on here? Well, we didn't know it at the time, but when Lady Danbury's brother rolled up, I was like, is this the Golden Bachelor of Bridgerton? Like, what's really good right now? What's happening? So she makes her little banter, her little, oh, thank you. But honey, the way that she had to look back at it when she was walking away, I was like, I see you, Violet. Okay. Not Lady Bridgerton, honey. She Violet. Okay. Violet's garden woke up. Oh, that was so funny. And then when they panned to Cressida, when they showed her, and I'm like, I know that Cressida and her family, well, really Cressida and her mama are going through it. But the way that that corset wrapped around her neck made her look like a complete and utter fool. I was just like, girl, you could wear that dress again, but this season, but I'm gonna need for you to cut that necklace, corset, weird thing. Like, I'm gonna need for that to go, because what is that? Okay, it was wild. It was wild. So I don't know why, but I have this weird feeling that Cressida might even think about going after Colin with all of this going on with Devlin, because like right now, she and Penelope have peak game, and they both see that both of them are interested in Devlin. But Cressida just gives me the vibe that, honey, she gonna do whatever it takes. Okay. And I don't know. I was like, maybe she might look at Colin. I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe even just to piss him off. Or maybe she might do it to get more of Debling's attention after she was out here pretending like she hurt her little ankle and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. So next up we have little Miss Francesca. And when I saw her talking to Sam Madani again, and when that fool was talking about, oh, both of us come from families with 7 kids, and it's such a rarity. And he's like, yeah, I want to have 8 kids. The look on Francesca's face, I felt that. Because say what now? And then he's talking about, oh no, he enjoys all the noise. And mm-mm, mm-mm. Return to sender. Send him back to wherever once he came. Send him back immediately. So then I was thinking about it, and I was like, Francesca and Debling, I could kind of see it, because she wants like something that's very logistical. She's quiet, or she wants it to be quiet. She's not really, seeking this deep love romance, and he's not either. But then at the same time, it's just wild to me how he's so into nature and wanting to go on these trips and all these other little things. And I'm like, is he looking for the same thing, or the same kind of person that Francesca may or may not be looking for? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Possibly. So then we move on to Danbury's brother, who, he's out and about, honey. He found Violet, had to make sure they had a little chit chat, and honey, Violet got her little eyes open, but then when Danbury rolled up, it dropped the bomb of like, "Oh, I see you've met my brother." And the looks that she gave Violet, I was like, "Ooh." She tried to shut that down. However, Lady Danbury, you are not beyond getting called out because you was out here messing with Violet's daddy. So I mean, at least she's not messing with your daddy. She's just looking at your brother. And if I were telling it, it looks like he might be a little bit more interested in Violet. And Violet is, she's interested, but she's a little curious. But I mean, he keeps showing up, popping up on her. So I don't know. We gonna see, but I put it's gonna get wild. Oh my goodness. Okay, so then we have Miss Francesca who goes outside, and that's when she meets Lord Kilmartin. Or actually, I don't know if we learned that his name is Kilmartin out there or if it's later on in the episode. And also apologies if this is a spoiler alert that we don't learn his name until the fourth episode. I think we learn in this one, but I don't know. If not, I'm sorry, but now you know his name. So they're outside, and I was like, "Oh, like that's so sweet that they're both just looking for a breather. They're both just trying to have a moment." And oh, I could so relate to that because when I go to social events, like I just, yeah, you too. I know. After a while, my social battery just goes out, and I just gotta go to sleep, like how y'all are laying down and should go to sleep, but you just want to growl at us for no reason. You're definitely an Eloise. Eloise, everyone. Okay, so for with Francesca and Kilmartin, it's cute because they like bond over the silence. And honey, when I tell you they are killing it with this whole look back at it. And what look back at it? Because every time I turn around, somebody is looking back at like, did y'all see the way that Francesca looked at him when she left? Okay. I mean, at this point, we might as well make a look back at it championship and see who's got the most fierce second look or double take. And next up, we learn about Lady Tilly Arnold, which is very interesting. I mean, honey, I put that cougar energy. When I tell you she's not one to be played with. I put little Benedict better watch out before she flips and dips him like a breakfast plate. Exactly. Exactly. But she looked very regal in blue. And I don't know, maybe she could mentor Eloise because Eloise needs somebody to help get her all the way together so that she can own and run her own business instead of being in everybody else's business. Eloise. Oh, our little baby Eloise to win night night. Let's see how long this lasts. Hopefully, no other. So then they show us the Modrich family because I don't know, Modriches sounds like Riches, but I don't know. Right now, they ain't trying to. I mean, they struggling with the riches that they have. So, but I said, let the identity crisis and rebellion begin. Oh, because it's gonna be a hot mess. I get it that he wants to run his little club and whatnot, and they want to assimilate into this fancy society, but at the same time, like they still want to hold on to the things that are true to them. And I feel like it's kind of sad that their story isn't necessarily getting the eye that it deserves, right? Like, I don't want to, I mean, I hate to sound selfish, but I don't want us to lose a season of Bridgerton to learn more about the Modric family. But it would be nice if there was like a little spin-off of like a limited series just to go through that because I feel like nowadays well, I'm gonna say it's somewhat relatable in this economy, but I feel like it's something that is easily relatable to a lot of people, especially when you come like for me, I'm coming from a blue collar family, small town, went to college, and things are just drastically different, and it's hard because a lot of times I'm still that little girl from Newbern. So I'm like, no, I'm not ordering Grubhub. I'm not getting ready to waste this money to have something delivered and then have to tip on top of that, and the food is going to be cold anyway. Like, I'm gonna just go get it myself and eat it in my car. But then, then you marry somebody who takes pride in their car and is a really big fan of either their car, and they're like, no, like, you can afford to splurge a little bit, like, live your life. Let's go to the restaurant and eat. I'm just like, money down the drain. But at the same time, there's other instances where, when you're growing and you're being exposed to other things that I don't know, like, I mean, with the moderages, I just feel like it's something that's easily relatable of when you kind of move away from the identity of who you are with your parents and into the new identity that you created in life. And it's such a hard thing to navigate because similar to what they're going through of like, oh, it's exciting to try these new things and to be involved, but then at the same time it's like you don't want to let go of all of your roots, but you feel like in some instances it doesn't make sense to drive and go get the food and eat it in the car if you have on a ball gown and you're getting ready to go to like some fancy dinner thing. Like, they just can't always coexist, but it's like this internal battle of trying to decide which end of the pendulum like you're swinging on that day. But anyways, I digress. That was a full-on side quest right there. But I feel like their story, it's slowly developing despite its like segmentedness. It's developing nicely, but it's so segmented and such little clippy doos that it's just not getting the time that it deserves. But selfishly, I don't want to give up Penn and Colin's time. So if it's meant to be, it'll be, and we'll figure out what exactly is going on with them later. Sorry, I don't know what is going on with I don't know what's going on with my throat. I guess I'll probably need some water because I haven't had any water. Okay, so anyhow, moving along. Nothing to see here. So did you notice Penn is wearing more of a tealish, bluish color? Like, they didn't have my girl in her emerald green. I'm like, I mean, but I guess maybe she's doing that to kind of like fade in a little bit with everyone after, all her business got put out on Front Street. And it was cute because, like, she was walking around, she was doing her best, trying to mingle and try to get Lord Debling's attention. But it was funny how Colin was still shook, honey. He was still following her around the room. But yeah, Penn, she was trying her best. I put all she was finding herself, all muffin. Then next up, we had Lord Devlin out here rooting for my girl. And I was like, ooh, oh la la. Take that, Cressida. Devlin wants someone who knows who they are in your face. When he was, saying that. No, he wants to be with somebody who knows who they are, who they want to be. And this is not they're not out here pretending and just saying whatever they think that he wants them to say. And I was like, "Ooh, not Colin over there peeping from around the corner." Colin was need. When I tell you, he was over there like Inspector Gadget with them eyes, just zooming in, thinking that maybe it was going to help him overhear their conversation and try to figure out when can he roll up in and try to ask some questions, I guess. Oh, I put Collins thinking he's pondering, but honey, you gonna have to move faster than you did with that balloon, okay? Because he was moving in slow mo. All right, and I'm like, honey, if you must be all up in Penn's face and chit chatting and knowing that you need to be asking her or telling her how you really feel, like you need to get them words out. But clearly, he was not fast enough because he was caught up by them lips, honey. He was caught up. I was just like, this boy, he lives in a fever dream. So I also said that with Devling being all into Penn and Cressida out here looking at Devling, it's not going to go well. Mm-mm. It's not going to go well. And then, I mean, I'm at these little stepsisters. They over here talking about oh, is it a hallucination with Penn and Devlin dancing? I'm like, y'all need to mind y'all married making an air business, okay? The one sister, she about killed her husband out here fooling around and all this stuff with a hot air balloon and everything. The other one, she just a mess. Y'all need to worry about yourself and let your sister do her thing, okay? Because Miss Penelope Featherington is trying to make the greatest comeback that has ever been a comeback in Bridgerton history. Okay. I don't know that for sure, but it just felt right in the moment. But like she trying to make her comeback. Don't be hating on her fresh. Like let her do her thing. I mean, they the hatingest, nosiest little somebodies. Meanwhile, they need to be worrying about their little bodies getting familiar with their little husbands. Like, mind your okay, mind your business. But yeah, that's where it ended. And so, this episode, I felt like it was good in a sense. We like gained a little bit more information, but they didn't really. I appreciated Colin's suffering, but at the same time, I don't know. I wanted a little bit more. I kind of wanted it to move a little bit faster, because it was like that all of this stuff is happening over the course of weeks, but it feels like each little ball has its own episode. So it's hard to really make it up in your mind that, like, oh, okay, weeks have gone by, but we've only seen a ball and a random event. Like, make it make sense. I'm trying to understand. So I don't know. We finna see what Colin's gonna do. Penelope, my girl, she out here. She trying her best. Lord Debling, he a serial killer. I don't care what anybody say. He's either a serial killer or he's hiding something else in his closet. And I don't know how Bridgerton was back in them days or whatnot, but something going on. And then you know Little Miss Eloise would be a nice match with Lord Devlin because she always trying to be in somebody else's business, and she doesn't really. I don't. I don't get the vibe that she's really looking for love and to like be attached to someone for the rest of her life. And I feel like more so she was upset with Penn for being Lady Whistledown because she admired Lady Whistledown so much. I feel like she was infatuated with the idea of her so much that when she found out, oh, it's just your ride or die friend all this time, not to put Penn down, but I feel like their society always kind of looked down on Penn because of her weight and because of all the stuff that went on with her family. And part of me just feels like she's just mad because she wanted to be Lady Whistledown. She wanted to be like that, have the power to maneuver and do whatever she wanted to do and not be tied to a man. But Lord Devlin would give her that because he gonna be, out here hunting all the time with his friends. Now, hopefully he don't go to Turks and Caicos or somewhere and get stuck. But I don't know. If he did, she could live her best life. And I mean, I don't know the way that her and Cressida be hanging out. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they could end up being more than friends. Maybe follow me here. Maybe it could be a lavender marriage. Like they could be the beard and the beardette for each other. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. But Lord Devlin, I like him for how he appreciates Penn for who she is as a person. But Penn is such a lover girl. Our girl Penelope is such a lover girl. And I just want her to be with someone who just loves her up. And I mean, could Colin be that? Possibly. But then at the same time, it's like, it's hard for me to root for it because I can't imagine the psychological toll that takes on somebody when you've been the girl next door, you've been so in love with someone, you worship the ground that they walk on, and then you over here them talking to their little friends like, no, I wouldn't be with them. I don't know if you can really come back from that. And then on top of that, like with her being Lady Whistledown and he out here ready to seek revenge and war against Lady Whistledown, out here ruining lives. Meanwhile, he out here ruining uteruses, but okay, whatever. Colin, that was probably a little too far. Sorry. Let's reel it back. This episode, it was better than the second one. The second one, I was just angry. This one, I'm like, okay, I can slowly see the little pieces of the puzzle moving, but like, I need more. I need some, like, I need a little bit more excitement. I need a little bit more drama, a little bit more pizzazz. So hopefully, the fourth one, that one will it'll give a little bit more, right? You guys think so? Yeah, Tuxie, you think so? All right. Well, we will catch you all in the next one.